trip. He fucks a whore on a business trip to Bangkok. It doesn't mean anything. He goes to some bar, she takes him to a room. She undresses and lies down, opens her legs. Maybe she's not a woman but a girl, 13, 14, from a small village. He's horny. He puts on the condom. She closes her eyes, or maybe stares at the ceiling. He doesn't kiss her. He's probably a little drunk, maybe more than that. He gets inside her. Maybe he sucks her tits. His hands are on either side of her breasts, or she's turned over and he can't see anything but black hair, a small narrow back. Maybe his eyes are closed and he's only feeling the sensations in his body. He's in her cunt or her ass. She sucks him first or doesn't. There's music or glasses clinking, laughter or yelling, maybe dim lights. Maybe he groans loudly, the way he always does when he comes. Maybe he doesn't come. He fucks her for a while and goes soft. He's too drunk. The girl starts giggling, or just lies there, or gets up to wash him off. She's older than he thought at first, maybe younger. It's hot in the room. Maybe not a room, but a curtained off section of one, nothing in it but a bed and a towel. Maybe it's a cot, maybe she's pretty, or has pimples and bitten nails. He doesn't remember. He's back in America. He turns on some music, kisses me. He fucked a whore in Bangkok. I can't see her face. The room is dark, maybe dim lights, maybe not a room at all. He puts on the condom. He pushes inside. It doesn't mean anything. I actually wrote that about an ex-boyfriend, and you know, he wasn't really the literary type, and he used to say, "Kim, read that piece about me." He was so excited to just be in a story. So this is the one, I'll read you the opening of the one that's in Men and Dressed, and just say that, you know, I love these kind of scenes where people really come out to hear literature and appreciate writers, but you know, one of the writers love to be appreciated is by having their books actually bought, so, and you know, it doesn't tend to happen as much in these kind of venues. So think about buying, you know, an anthology, a really great, sexy anthology for somebody for Christmas or whatever, and, you know, all the writers will really appreciate it, and we can keep writing alive, which would be really nice. So this is called The Gift. I find a dildo on the street, thick and slightly curved, flesh-colored. It looks so convincing that for a second I think it is a real penis, and I feel a sense of vertigo. It's brand new, wrapped in white tissue, which is ripped open. There's a thin blue and white striped ribbon tied around it, and red Scotch tape with little Christmas tree designs holding the corners. I look around to see if there is someone nearby who might have dropped it. The street is full of people entering and leaving stores, carrying oddly shaped packages, or dragging enormous bags full of gifts, no doubt intended for loved ones. Yes, it is clear that everyone but me has loved ones to buy for. The dildo could belong to anyone. It looks elegant and expensive and forlorn, lying there so vulnerably, perhaps about to be stepped on, trampled underfoot, a smudged heel mark left on the still pristine tissue. Perhaps it will be kicked aside to lie all night beside a garbage can, or even placed inside it with a reek of old hamburger wrappers to which well-chewed gray gum clings. I can't bear these thoughts. I bend down to cradle the object in my hand. I think for a minute of its rightful owner. Perhaps some woman like me, a woman who is lonely, isolated in fact, a woman who has no one to be with at Christmas. Maybe she bought herself a present she would wait until Christmas morning to open. Maybe she would take it to bed and close her eyes and moan and rock back and forth on it, saying, "John, John," for that is his name, the man who walked out on me at the start of the holiday shopping season, leaving me devastated, perhaps even suicidal, who knows what I may do next. And then she would come, her legs stiffening, her juices flowing, and she would begin to cry afterwards, and perhaps fling it across the room with a curse. But now I have deprived her of all that. I have picked it up and put it into the pocket of my long black coat and hurried home with it. Now it sits, or stands rather, on the dresser, freed of its wrappings. It glows in the light of the lamp, its veins seem to pulse, a rosy aura suffuses it. I take off my clothes and approach it. Something seems to radiate from it, a sense of ease and power, a kind of self-satisfaction, a kind of lust. Yes, it is clearly lust that I feel. I seize it in my hand, I fall to the floor with it and writhe around. It throbs under my palm, swells and hardens as I pump it faster and faster. My orgasm builds until I explode. So I haven't read this in a long time. It's really cracking me up, you know. Until I explode all over the rug. It's embarrassing. I'm going to read it anyway. Come spurts from me, one spurt, another. I lie exhausted, holding it in my hand. I pass out from the sheer pleasure of it. I would revise those lines if I was... I wake up not knowing how long I have been unconscious. Maybe minutes, but maybe years. I could be an old woman, finished with sex forever, content to sit on a sagging plaid couch and stare at the television in an ugly room with no visitors day after day. I eat candy bars from the vending machine. At night I take pills and lie awake listening to the radiator and the nurse's shoes going by my door and the person in the next room trying to breathe with his weak, collapsed lungs. I stagger to my feet, feeling strange and dizzy. I look in the full-length mirror and see that I am not an old woman at all. I am a young man. I have a large penis, thick and slightly curved, dark hair around my balls. I yank at it and feel it at the base of my belly. I look at myself in horror. I would gladly turn into something else, a werewolf, a vampire. I would happily be like Gregor Samsa and live out the rest of my life as a dung beetle. But I am a man. And already as I look at myself, the horror begins to fade. I can no longer think or feel anything but, yes, again it is lust I feel. I touch the head of my penis and it quivers. It longs to dive into the bed sheets and thrust over and over. It takes me with it. I come all over the sheets, yelling and thrashing about. Afterwards, I sleep deeply. I wake the next morning and think it has been a dream. Perhaps I'm delusional. Perhaps the doctor was right after all and I should begin taking Prozac. But truthfully, I feel better than I have in weeks. And besides, I have a heart-on. I lie there dreamily pulling on my penis and come again in the sheets, which are already a little stiff and sticky. I think of doing the laundry. It has been so long since I have washed the sheets or my clothes or cleaned the apartment. I've been so depressed over John's leaving. But I do not want to clean today. No, I want to take a shower and eat a large breakfast and take my penis out into the world. So I'll stop there if you want to know what happens.